Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I formally declare open this council meeting of the Colac Otway Shire on 23rd of June 2026. I'll start with the opening prayer. Almighty God, we seek your blessing and guidance in our deliberations. On behalf of the people of the Colac Otway Shire, enable this council's decisions to be those that contribute to the true welfare and betterment of our community. Amen. I'd like to start this afternoon by acknowledging the traditional custodians and lawmakers of this land, their elders, past and present. Please be advised that this meeting is recorded and live streamed with the exception of confidential matters. This includes the public participation sections of meetings. The live stream recording this afternoon's meeting will be available on the website as soon as practicable. By participating in open meetings, individuals consent to the use and disclosure of the information they share at the meeting, including any personal and or sensitive information. I note that 5 councillors are present in the room. Councillor Howard is online and Councillor Potter is an apology, is our ALGA rep and is in Canberra representing council today. I move to 3.3, the confirmation of minutes. I propose that we move to confirm the minutes of the council meeting held on the 26th of May 2026. Do I have a mover? Councillor Hudgell. Is it to be seconded? Councillor McCrickard. We have a motion before us, councillors. I'll now call for a vote. All those in favour? Councillor Buchanan, Councillor Deuce, Councillor Howard, Councillor McCrickard, Councillor Hudgell, Councillor Schramm. Motion is carried 6-0. Thank you. I now move to declarations of interest. Are there any declarations of interest? Councillor Buchanan.
Thanks, Mayor. Yes, I've got item 6.1, 260 Warrawi Road. It's a material interest and it's to do with my son and daughter-in-law's excision of a house.
Thank you. Councillor Duke.
I have a conflict for 7.1 and 7.2, material conflict due to being employed by the community hall and which has a direct and indirect benefit from a proposed grant and proposed draft budget.
Mr. Tenney.
Through you, Mayor, I have a conflict of interest in item 7.2. It's a general conflict of interest, being a member of the board of the Colac Area Health Foundation.
Thank you. Any other conflicts?
Through you, Mayor, I have a conflict of interest for item 7.2. I sit on a board that is a potential recipient of a grant under the grants.
Thank you. Are there any other conflicts of interest? No. We'll now move on to 4, question time. Question time is an opportunity to ask questions of council in a respectful manner. Please extend due courtesy to councillors and officers when addressing council in this meeting. We reserve the right to disallow questions that breach our governance rules. 30 minutes is allowed for question time at council meetings. Community members wishing to ask questions of the council by video conference were requested to register their intention before 5 p.m. on Friday the 19th of June 2026. No requests were received. Councillors received questions in writing from Stephen Hart. These questions will be read out and a response will be provided by the relevant member of the executive management team.
Thank you, Mayor. The question submitted was, question relates to the budget and fortnightly drop-off waste service at Beach Forest, Carlisle River, Jellybrand and Lavers Hill. For more than a decade, Council provided 2 extra services at January each year and 1 extra at the time of the Easter school holiday period. This means that from the end of December until the end of January, there are normally services scheduled for 5 weeks in a row. Then if a collection is cancelled due to fire risk, residents only have to wait 1 extra week to drop off their rubbish. This year, Council didn't provide 2 extra services at January. It meant there was almost a month between collections when just 1 collection was cancelled. Question 1, will Council provide the 2 extra drop-off collections in January 2027 and 1 extra at the time of the Easter school period? or has Council permanently removed these collections? Council's response is the additional January and Easter drop-off services have not been permanently removed. They did not occur in January this year due to fires and the disruptions that were subsequently caused. For 2027, Council will continue with the additional collections across January, as well as an additional service during the Easter school holiday period. This restores the service level previously provided and addresses the gap experienced in January 2026. The 2026-27 drop-off calendars have now been finalised and issued to our contractor for distribution across the 4 locations.
Thank you. That concludes our written questions. We'll now move on to questions from the gallery. In accordance with our governance rules, we've sought registration for questions from the gallery. I now invite up Tony Webber. Thank you.
My first question's on Montrose Avenue. When we get more than an inch or 25 millimetres of rain, the little, well, it's sort of a bridge under or over Anderson's Creek floods, and it's quite dangerous for traffic. It can get really quite deep just before you enter the recycling centre. So can anything be done about this?
Thanks.
I'll take that one, Mayor. Please can I take that one on notice? I'll have to consult with our infrastructure and engineering department.
Yeah, thank you.
The second question is on a proposed development on the Barham Valley Road. I think it's 265. I don't know if any of the councillors or staff have seen the promotions for it. It's about 80 lot subdivision. It's apparently biodynamic or permaculture. Has the council approved this, or have they seen the plans?
Thanks, Tony. CEO.
Thanks, Mr Webber. We're aware of the proposal that's being circulated around. There's been no approval for council for such a development as they're espousing. We're still trying to understand what the proposal actually is. We understand it's offering the ability for people to lease lots in that development. So the short answer is no, council hasn't approved anything as yet. It's not a council project. We're monitoring it. But if people are approached with such an opportunity, they should be seeking out their own independent advice and doing their due diligence around it as well.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you. I now call Elizabeth Ryan. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My question relates to something that often happens when I come from Birregurra from home into Colac or into Birregurra, and that's at the Cape Otway Road and the Birregurra-Deansmast Road intersection. The number of vehicles that actually just go straight through that intersection. Truck ahead of me today went left. The vehicle behind me just went straight through the intersection. My concern, and years ago, Vic Roads, unbeknownst to the Colac Otway Shire, put in the big flashing 60k signs, but we never got the rumble strips that accompanied to go with them. So and also then when I got into Birregurra Township, it happened again. A local construction company's ute just did a straight reverse across Main Street to then turn right and head east out of Birregurra. So my questions relate to, could Colac Otway Shire please urgently address the road safety issues identified?
I could be wrong, but they sound like police matters. Have you reported it?
Oh, it's an ongoing police matter, but there's things that the Shire could do to remedy the rumble strips, because that's in the Cape Otway Road.
On both sides of...
Well, I don't usually use the Bray side, so that's okay, but it's on the Birregurra, when you're coming up the Cape Otway Road. Yeah. I don't rarely use the other side, but likewise, I think the intersection should be closed. That's another story, but...
Sure. I'll throw to the CEO for response. Thank you.
Through you, Mayor. So you've given us the intersection that you're talking about and what you're looking at, and so we'll send some engineers out to have a look at that in the next couple of weeks.
Thank you. And then the same in the Birregurra with the main street, where the vehicles just reverse. They don't care. They just come straight out of a park, reverse across the full width of Main Street, and then go on their merry way instead of doing a blocky. Or it's not uncommon. It just happened again in front of me as I came in. So
Again, through you, Mayor, I mean, that's driver behaviour and something we can't do much about, but that's a Department of Transport road, and so we'll mention that again to them and see whether or not there's anything that they suggest could be done.
another road issue. Could Colac Otway Shire please investigate parking across driveways in Murray Street between Scott Street and Armstrong Street? I was actually parked in the Garden of Eden car park the other day and went to leave, and a highway patrol car actually decided to come for a coffee because it says you can park through there, but you actually then can't exit the car park. So, and the same happens, yeah.
Okay, again, through you, Mayor, we'll have a look into that.
Thank you. That concludes our questions from the gallery and question time. Thanks to everyone. There are no petitions or joint letters. We'll now move on to item 6, planning and responsible authority decisions. 6.1, Councillor Buchanan declared a conflict of interest and will leave the chamber. Thank you. Councillor Buchanan has left. Item 6.1, planning permit 4/2026-1, 260 Warrawowie Road, Irrawara, subdivision of land into 2 lots, dwelling excision in farming zone. Questions of officers? Are there any questions? None online? No? Oh, yeah. Phil, you've got your hand up there. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, Mayor. It's online. It's hard to know the protocol exactly, but I don't have a question, but I'd like to put up an alternative motion for consideration.
Oh, thank you. Just quickly, no further questions. No, you flagged had an alternative motion. Councillor Howard? If
I flagged that, yes.
yeah, I'll have to get you to read it in full as it's not part of the agenda.
Do you want me to do that now, Mayor?
Yes, thank you.
Yep. So my alternative motion is that the Planning Committee resolves to issue a notice of decision to grant a permit for subdivision of land into 2 lots, in brackets, dwelling excision at 260 Warrawowie Road, Irrawara, Crown Allotment 42 VF 6874/790, Parish of Irrawara, subject to the following conditions. Endorsed plans. Number 1, the layout and site dimensions of the subdivision hereby permitted, as shown on the endorsed plan, must not be altered or modified without the written consent of the responsible authority. There are no requirements to alter or modify the endorsed plan if a plan is certified under the provisions of the Subdivision Act 1988 that is generally in accordance with the endorsed plan. Easements. Condition 2. Prior to the certification of the plan of subdivision under the Subdivision Act 1988, all easements deemed necessary to protect existing or future drainage lines within the subject site and any easements required between the subject site and the nominated legal point of discharge must be created to the satisfaction of the responsible authority. Servicing authorities. Number 3, the owner of the land must enter into agreements with the relevant authorities for the provision of water supply, drainage, sewerage facilities, electricity and gas, in brackets, where it is proposed to be connected, services to each lot shown on the endorsed plan in accordance with the authorities' requirements from relevant legislation at the time. The plan of subdivision submitted for certification under the Subdivision Act 1988 must be referred to the relevant authority in accordance with Section 8 of the Act. Condition 5, all existing and proposed easements and sites for existing or required utility services and roads on the land must be set aside in the plan of subdivision submitted for certification in favour of the relevant authority for which the easement or site is to be created. On-site wastewater management, number 6. Prior to the issue of a statement of compliance under the Subdivision Act 1988, the existing on-site wastewater management system must either be altered or a new domestic wastewater management system must be constructed to service the existing dwelling. The design and alteration or installation of any wastewater disposal system for any building on the land must comply with the EPA guidelines for on-site wastewater management in brackets May 2024 as amended, and the EPA effluent dispersal and recycling system guidance in brackets May 2024 as amended to the satisfaction of the responsible authority. Subdivision and boundary realignments. Condition 7. The on-site wastewater management system, including the wastewater treatment system and effluent disposal field, must be contained entirely within the lot boundary. In the event of the system is not contained entirely within the allotment or the existing system is failing, an application to alter the existing system to meet current EPA guidelines for on-site wastewater management in brackets May 2024 or as amended must be submitted to the Council's Health Protection Unit. Expiry. The permit will expire if one of the following circumstances applies. A, the plan of subdivision is not certified within 2 years of the date of the permit. B, a statement of compliance is not issued within 5 years of the date of certification of the plan. The responsible authority may extend the period for certification referred to if a request is made in writing before the permit expires or within 6 months afterwards. There are notes to that. I don't believe I need to read out the notes because the approval is in the conditions. Is that okay, Mr. Mayor?
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you. We have an alternative motion move, councillors. Is it to be seconded? Councillor McCrickard. Councillor Howard is the mover. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I don't take decisions in the farming zone lightly, and I'm very passionate about development in our farming areas. So I'll give you an outline of the reasons why I've put up this alternative motion. Firstly, it's a different and it's a new application. The planning system is a merit-based system, so we have to acknowledge this is a new application and there's different items and matters to be considered. Yes, there is an old VCAT decision, but there's also other VCAT decisions that support such development in the farming zone. VCAT is about natural justice, so therefore it's a new application. If it ends up in VCAT, natural justice to the applicant and to the objector is that the merits have got to be heard again. Council has in the chambers previously approved similar applications, and I believe this does give direction of where council's going with such applications. The house has been renovated since the last application, and I believe that was one of the items in the last VCAT decision. It's been there for 116 years. An excision is an allowable subdivision, and it's been in the planning scheme for many, many years because it is really a right of the farming families to ensure that they've can excise their dwelling off at a later stage for various reasons, but most of it's succession planning. Excisions are drawing a line basically around the development that already exists. Succession planning supports the use of farming. It supports the use of this farming enterprise by having been able to have people there who have farmed the land for a long time and can give support to the new farmers coming in, and it's a great thing. We've got state policy now that talks about housing and housing needs and accommodation, workers' accommodation, etc., etc. We need to understand this is a new environment around housing in Victoria. We need to understand the needs of farmers around having accommodation on their allotments. You know, these are farming families. They know what productive farmland is. They're not going to take it out of production, but the houses around there support the enterprise. They support an ongoing agricultural use. Again, I don't believe this is fragmenting productive farmland by an excision. Then we go have a look at previous decisions that used to have, or they did have Section 173's agreements to say if this goes through my alternative motion, we should then actually restrict any further development by putting basically a covenant on the title that exists for ages. I think there's an overuse of the Section 170 agreements because I'll go back. Planning is a merit-based system. If other applications come in for further dwellings on either of the lots, it's based on its merits, not based on being restricted. I've been at a rural regional conference last week, and there was a great debate around, again, the overuse of conditions, the overuse of Section 173 agreements. That is in a merit-based system, and I'll keep coming back to that. And I think to end my debate on this is that, the state government keeps taking the power off local government, especially in the planning area, and you can see the amendments to the planning scheme that's going to come through very shortly. It takes the powers off us. And I think one of the biggest reasons is because we overuse conditions, we overuse Section 173 agreements and restrict proper development that we know from a local knowledge that are appropriate. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thanks, Councillor Howard. Councillor McCrickard as a seconder.
Thank you, Mayor. Look, I understand the complexities that have previously been around this particular farm, and I also believe that Councillor Howard has put together a realistic and a sensible alternative. I think he's done a remarkable job putting this together, and I fully support this alternative. And this is in no way diminishing the work of the officers who have put together a very detailed report. But I just feel that it's in keeping with previous decisions that we have made, the 173. The house has been there for 100 years, and we're going to parcel off 2 or 3 hectares. That still can be used for productive farming in an alternative way. I think that we need houses in the country for our farming community to live and obviously then to work. We'd be doing a disjustice if, I believe, if we went any other way. Thank you, Mayor.
Thanks, Councillor. Any other councillor wish to speak? Councillor Duke.
I recognise that there's an argument for supporting smaller scale or lifestyle farming outcomes, and I have sympathy for that position. However, my role in this setting is to assess the application against the planning scheme and relevant decisions. In this case, the officer report I feel is thorough. So that's my fault.
Thank you. Councillor Hudgell, thank you.
Thanks, Mayor. I'll keep this short and sweet. I'd just like to thank Councillor Howard for all the work that he's done in bringing this alternative motion forward. I believe this motion provides a really fair and balanced approach. As councillors, we spend a significant amount of time reviewing and reading reports and undertaking site visits where appropriate and carefully weighing up information before us. And these decisions, as Councillor Howard mentioned, are really straightforward, and they're not decisions that any of us take lightly. I believe this application should be assessed on its own merits as well, and I also acknowledge the changing policy landscape around housing, particularly in regional rural communities, and the need to balance good planning outcomes with supporting local families and agriculture enterprises. So thank you to Councillor Howard for all the work he has done on this. Thank you.
Thank you. Right of reply, Councillor Howard.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Look, I respect council to do its assessment against the officer's report, but I would encourage councillors to get a bit more in depth into the planning scheme and actually try to analyse it against local needs and local knowledge. This is not fragmenting productive farmland. This is actually supporting an enterprise, an agriculture enterprise that will go well into the future and hopefully last as long as the house that has, and even more. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor. We have a motion before us. Council will now put it to a vote. All those in favour? Councillor Hudgell, Councillor McCrickard, Councillor Howard, Councillor Schramm. All those against? Councillor Duke. Motion is carried 4-1. Thanks, councillors. Could we call in Councillor Buchanan, please? Thanks, councillors. We'll now move on to item 7.1. Councillor Duke had a conflict of interest. You don't have to say it again, do you? You do. Thank you. Thanks. 7.1, 2026-2027 budget for adoption. Questions of officers? Are there any? Councillor Howard.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. The budget papers that the council officers put together are fantastic. The only thing is that sometimes it gets a little bit complex, and can I ask one of the officers to explain how the deficit, which is a really positive thing but looks negative, could someone please explain that?
Thanks, CEO.
Through you, Mayor. Thanks for the question, Councillor Howard. So people may notice that in the draft budget that was exhibited back in April, we did forecast a net surplus for the 26-27 financial year of around $709,000. In the period between exhibiting the budget and now, and finally putting together the final budget documents, we were notified that the federal assistance grants were going to change in the way they were going to be allocated. So we're anticipating a total allocation of about $9.8 million for 26-27. However, we were notified that 80% of that would be received in the 25-26 year. And so it's a bit of an accounting anomaly that then we've had to update the budget document, which means that the forecast income for 25-26 will increase by that 80%, and our expected income for 26-27 has declined, and I think it's around about $8 million that is the change. And so that's what's led to what in our budget papers is now appearing to be a net deficit of $5.7 million in 26-27. But as Councillor Howard said, it's not it's not an overall bad income, because that additional income that we received this year will be carried over and will be available for use in the 26-27 year.
Thank you. Any other questions? No. We have an officer recommendation in the report. Does any council wish to move that as the motion? Councillor McCrickard. Is it to be seconded? Councillor Hudgell. Councillor McCrickard is the mover. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. The officers, when preparing the budget, take a pretty democratic approach. There are a series of consultations with the community and certainly with us as councillors. And this is required, but I just feel that the officers continue to seek any additional suggestions from us on their ability and our ability to align our budget with the long-term financial plan of the council. And like all businesses, the Colac Otway Shire is also experiencing a cost of living crisis, and it's terrific that council can incorporate 1.5 million to a number of initiatives that are of priority. Funding for the bike track and the Deans Creek Pound Road intersection was successfully secured, which is a welcome outcome. I'd just like to thank the officers and fellow councillors for the effort that they put into this important work and the final document, which is pretty impressive. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor McCrickard. Councillor Hudgell as the seconder.
Thanks, Mayor. I'd just like to start as well by firstly acknowledging my fellow councillors, the CEO, Andrew, the exec team and all the officers that have contributed to this development of this budget. I think when I first came onto council, I don't think I fully understood the enormous amount of work that goes into preparing a budget of this scale, and the planning, the workshops, the discussions, the briefings, the community engagement that all sit behind this document are really significant. And I just want to acknowledge that first of all, and the commitment of everyone involved in bringing it together. I'd just like to also acknowledge the community members that took the time to make submissions throughout the budget process. We received over more than 50 submissions, and every one of those played a really important role in helping shape our decision making. So thank you to those community members that took the time to make those. I think, as Councillor McCrickard mentioned, one thing that has become increasingly clear throughout this project is that local governments are operating in a really challenging financial environment, and we often talk about cost of living pressures impacting households and businesses, but councils are also facing that significant increase in costs across lots of areas. And we know that people in our community are doing it tough. We understand the pressures facing families and businesses and community organisations, but at the same time, our communities, rightly so, expect safe roads, well-maintained public spaces, essential services and continued investment in things that make our town great. I don't know if there is ever going to be a perfect budget. There's always going to be projects and initiatives and services that we'd all like to fund and support if resources allowed. But I really do believe this budget is a fair and balanced approach. It reflects needs and aspirations of our community for today, but also recognising our responsibility to maintain the long-term financial sustainability of our organisation as well. So thank you again. I look forward to next year's budget, or if this gets through. Thanks.
Thanks, Councillor. Councillor Howard.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. My fellow councillors have made some great comments. What I'd like to just emphasise is this is a very responsible budget that looks at our renewal program and the gap that we have to undertake over the next few years, and also the great work that we're doing in the capital works area as well. A lot of councillors get behind the capital works program, but this budget is a very responsible and reasonable budget to hopefully keep up our good work in that area, but also renew our assets into the future for future generations. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor. Any other councillor? No? Yeah, I'd too like to thank everyone that's put in a lot of hard work for since the last budget finished. We start on the next one, and a lot of hard work, a lot of meetings, community consultation, and value the community input. It's been positive. Really trying to work with council to get things through and put their great ideas. Unfortunately, we can't put everything through. Like, there's literally millions of dollars of great ideas that we can't fit into a budget. And you put some context in it. Colac Otway Shire looks after 3,500 square kilometres, and we generate just over $31 million in rates, which is a lot of money. Hard worked for money. But you compare that to a city council that might be 100 square kilometres, doesn't have any gravel roads, barely has any of its own roads and things to maintain. They have parking meters, parking fines, and generate income from many other ways, and might have a couple of $100 million in rates. And to look after those small areas, we've got to look after a massive area on not much. So what we've been managed to fit in this budget, I think, is well balanced across the whole Shire. And I think, without that community input, it would have been a lot harder. So I thank everyone for their great ideas. And, we'll still continue to advocate throughout the year. We've got a state government election coming up, and a lot of those projects that people want to see in our community, we'll still advocate long and hard for. And hopefully we'll get some election promises to fulfil that. Keep the ideas coming into council. It certainly makes our job a lot easier. And, again, the hard work from this council from day one in making things more efficient, looking for savings across the organisation, spending that hard-earned ratepayers' money locally on things that we need instead of things that we want, or individual projects. I think everyone should be commended. And like some other councillors have said, not everyone's going to be happy. But that's life on even, the family budget. Some kids might miss out on some lollies occasionally when you're trying to work out the old household budget. So hopefully this will get through, and we can start seeing some of these capital works projects and other little things happen again in our Shire. Thank you. Right, a reply, Councillor McCrickard. No. We have a motion before us. Councillors will now put it to a vote. All those in favour? Councillor Buchanan, Councillor Howard, Councillor McCrickard, Councillor Udgell, Councillor Schreier. Motion is carried 5-0. Thank you. We'll move on to 7.2. Councillor Dude also declared a conflict of interest on this item and will still remain outside of the chamber. The Colac Otway Shire Grants Program and Trees for Farms Grants Program allocation of funds. Questions of officers? Are there any questions? No questions. Very good. Well, there's an officer recommendation in the report. Councillors, does anyone wish to move that as the motion? Councillor Hudgell, is it to be seconded? Councillor McCrickard. Councillor Hudgell as the mover. Thank you.
Thanks, Mayor. Yeah, I'd have to say, as a councillor, this is probably one of the most enjoyable things that we get to be a part of. This year alone, council received over 105 applications, which is pretty incredible and really demonstrates how much great work is happening across our Shire. While we can't fund every project in full, it's fantastic to see 95 projects have been recommended for support through the Community Events Business Grants Program, with more than 300,000 being invested back into our community. It's just awesome to see. What I really love about these grants is that they touch every corner of our community as well. Whether it's sporting clubs, community groups, environmental projects, local businesses, arts and culture, there's something in here for everyone. When you read through the list, you really get a really great sense of amazing people and organisations that we have in our Shire. There's projects in there. I'll just highlight a couple there. The Colac Makerspace purchasing a new equipment, upgrades to the Jellybrand Public Hall, improvements at the Scout Hall, and it supports lots of events such as the Warrior Flower Show and Kana Festival and many local markets as well. So I'd just like to thank the council officers as well. We know these require a huge amount of work from supporting applicants through the whole process and the whole journey of applying and bringing these recommendations to council. It's a significant task and one that we really appreciate, so thank you.
Thanks, Councillor. Councillor McCrickard as a seconder.
Thank you, Mayor. Look, I just reiterate the words of Councillor Hudgell. This is the grants are really a fantastic opportunity for the community to really form an alliance with the council and to work with council, and I think it really does highlight the affiliation that our ratepayers feel connecting with our local shire, and I think that partnership is really important, and obviously so many of our community groups feel comfortable applying for a grant, and that sort of says to me that there's an element of trust and an element of acceptance and a willingness for our community groups to put forward ideas and suggestions that are for the benefit and the well-being of our shire. As Councillor Hudgell said, our shire is a huge area, and there's potential grants going out to lots of different groups right across our shire. And I know for the officers who have worked through the submissions, it's not an easy gig, and they've got to follow the set guidelines to ensure fairness and accountability. But I commend the work of the officers as they've demonstrated a real sense of fairness to all, and I think it's well done to them and well done to council as we together have worked through this exciting phase of council. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor. Councillor Howard.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. It is a great news story for the community, but I will put the proviso on that, we as councillors have to ensure that we use public funds to the best of their advantage. So I appreciate what the officers have done under the current guidelines, but I look forward to, as a new councillor group, reviewing the guidelines just to ensure probity about all the things that we allocate. In regards to the trees for farms, I've just got one thing to say, and I'll quote an old poet, that I've never seen a poem more lovely than a tree. So well done to Councillor Buchanan for putting that up. Thank you.
Thanks for the poetry, Councillor. Any other councillor wish to speak? No? No right to reply. We have a motion before us, councillors. We'll now put it to a vote. All those in favour? Councillor Buchanan, Councillor Howard, Councillor McCrickard, Councillor Hudgell, Councillor Shire. Motion is carried 5-0. Thanks, councillors. Somebody grab Councillor Dudu for us. Thanks. Thanks, councillors. We'll now move on to item 7.3, project budget adjustments and cash reserve transfers, questions of officers. If there are no questions, there's an officer recommendation in the report. Does any councillor wish to move that as the motion? Councillor Hudgell, is it to be seconded? Councillor Howard. Councillor Hudgell as the mover. Thank you.
Thanks, Mayor. As always, this report plays an important role in delivering good governance and transparency to our community. There is a couple of projects in this report worth highlighting. One is proposed review of the Colac 2050 growth plan. This is an important piece of work that will help guide future planning growth across the Shire, and it's pleasing to see that much of the work can be undertaken internally by officers, allowing it to be delivered in a cost-effective way as well. So again, just thank the officers for their work managing these projects and ensuring council remains informed throughout the process. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Howard as the seconder.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Again, support Councillor Hutchell's comments. It's fantastic. It's one of my favourite reports because it's such a transparent way, again, coming back to making sure that we utilise public funds in the best way. Thank you.
Thank you. No Shakespeare. Any other councillor? No. We have a motion before us. Councillors will now put it to a vote. All those in favour? Councillor Buchanan, Councillor Dew, Councillor Howard, Councillor McCricker, Councillor Hudgell, Councillor Schramm. Carried 6-0. Thanks, councillors. We'll move on to 7.4 for Exhibition Council Policy 18.2, Privacy Policy. Questions of officers. If there are no questions, there's an officer recommendation in the report. Does any councillor wish to move that as the motion? Councillor McCricker, seconded Councillor Hudgell. I beat you, Phil. Sorry. Councillor McCricker as the mover. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Look, I won't be long, just for exhibition, the council privacy policy, public exhibition for a period of 6 weeks, gives everyone the opportunity to make comment, and we look forward to hearing in submissions anything that comes forward. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. As a seconder.
Thank you. Yeah, just like to thank the officers for their work reviewing this policy and ensuring it remains current and compliant. This report doesn't propose any major changes to the existing policy, rather just an updating and making sure it's aligned with the current requirements. So yeah, today we're just endorsing it for public exhibition so the community can have the opportunity to review it and provide any feedback.
Thank you. Any other councillor? Yeah, I'll grab that. Could be the Prime Minister. Sorry. No other councillor? No, we have a motion before us. We'll now put it to a vote. All those in favour? Councillor Buchanan, Councillor Dew, Councillor Howard, Councillor McCricker, Councillor Hudgell, Councillor Schramm. Motion is carried 6-0. Thanks. We'll now move on to item 7.5 for Exhibition Council Policy 18.8, Council Committees. Questions of officers. No. If there are no questions, there's an officer recommendation in the report. Does any council wish to move that as the motion? Councillor McCricker. It's to be seconded. Councillor Hudgell. Councillor McCricker as the mover. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Again, a policy that needs to go forward for public exhibition for a period of 6 weeks. It gives our community an opportunity to digest and put forward a type of submission, and all submitters will be heard either in writing or verbally. And again, to our officers for presenting this potential policy. We thank them for their work, and we look forward to hearing through the submissions committee any follow-up. Thanks, Mayor.
Thanks, Councillor. Councillor Hudgell.
Thanks, Mayor. Yeah, just to echo Councillor McCrickard, and just to mention also the policy remains largely the same, and just with the main changes being its transition to Council's new policy template.
Thanks, Councillor. Any other councillor? No. We have a motion before us. We'll now put to a vote. All those in favour? Councillor Buchanan, Councillor Dew, Councillor Howard, Councillor McCricker, Councillor Hudgell, Councillor Schramm. Carried 6-0. Thanks, councillors. We'll move on to 7.6, endorsement of the Age-Friendly Victoria Declaration. Questions of officers? No. We have an officer recommendation in the report. Does any council wish to move that as the motion? Councillor Howard, is it to be seconded? Councillor McCricker, Councillor Howard is the mover. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think the report outlines the advantage of this, plus I'm moving towards that age myself, so I fully support it. Thank you.
Conflict of interest. Councillor McCricker as the seconder.
Yeah, well, this particular piece of council today is particularly pertinent to myself, and well, maybe not really, but most likely. And it's a very important part of our community to look through this and look at it and to take it on board. So yeah, so like Councillor Howard, fully support.
Thank you. Any other councillor? Councillor Hudgell.
Thanks, Mayor. Yeah, we know Colac Otway has an ageing population with around 31% of our residents, maybe 32% of residents with Mick include, aged over 60. And I'd just like to point out and acknowledge the advocacy groups such as U3A, Colac Otway, Health Services and Community Representation who have supported this initiative and helped bring it forward. Thank you.
Any other councillor? Thank you. Councillor Buchanan.
Thanks, Mayor. I think we live in a very fast ageing population in the Western world, and I guess in this group here I'm probably streaks ahead. I'm going to win the race. So the only thing I'd like to see up there is if we could halt the whole process. I mean, ageing.
Very good. Thank you. Any other councillor? No. Right or reply? Oh. A motion before us. Councillors will now put it to a vote. All those in favour? Councillor Hudgell, Councillor McCricker, Councillor Howard, Councillor Dew, Councillor Buchanan, Councillor Councillor Schramm. Motion is carried 6-0. Thank you. Now move on to item 7.7, Microsoft licensing renewal. Questions of officers. Just have a question on the. Could you explain the tender process and how it was done by an outside party other than the Colac Otway Shire through the MAV?
Absolutely. To make sure that we got best value for money, we accessed whole of local government pricing, and so the Municipal Association of Victoria released a tender for Microsoft licensing that included all the Victorian councils, and as a result, instead of paying something closer to the retail price, we were able to get something that we wouldn't be able to achieve on our own, and so I guess that manifests in terms of the price we pay and getting value for money for our ratepayers.
Thank you. Any other questions of officers? No. We have an officer recommendation in the report. Does any council wish to move that as the motion? Councillor Hudgell, is it to be seconded? Councillor Howard. Councillor Hudgell is a mover. Thank you.
Thanks, Mayor. This is one of those items that sits behind the scenes, but it's absolutely essential to the day-to-day operation of our organisation. It's pleasing to see that there was a competitive process to ensure council achieves the best value for money outcome. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor. Councillor Howard is the seconder.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. A lot of these IT matters and issues come before the Audit and Risk Committee, and I must say I'm very supportive of our IT department when it comes to probity and their technical expertise in getting the right vendors for us. So I compliment our IT staff.
Thanks, Councillor. Any other councillor wish to speak? Councillor Buchanan.
Thanks, Mayor. I'd just reiterate Councillor Howard's comments. There's no one worse at trying to get these cantankerous damn things to work than me. and I've had to be pulled out of the poo many times by the crew.
A tough job. Thank you. Any other councillor wish to speak? No. A motion before us, councillors, will now put to a vote. All those in favour? Councillor Buchanan, Councillor Dew, Councillor Howard, Councillor McCrickard, Councillor Hudgell, Councillor Schramm. Motion is carried 6-0. We'll now move on to item 7.8, the Governance Report Monthly. Questions of officers. Anita.
Through you, Mr Mayor, I just wanted to note an incorrect date on one of the attachments. Attachment 7.86 says that the informal council meeting was on the 5th of May 2024 and it was on the 16th of June 2026. We will correct that.
Noted. Thank you. Are there any questions, councillors? No. Okay, so there's an officer recommendation in the report. Councillors will now put it to a vote. No, we won't. Does anyone wish to move that as a motion? Councillor McCrickard. Is it to be seconded? Councillor Hudgell. Councillor McCrickard. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Look, this is always an important part of our meeting to look at this, and it just gives a pretty fair indication of what's happening. But I'd just like to take this opportunity to congratulate Alan Oban, Tracy Manson, Tracy Whitecross, Ross Manson, Chloe Cook, Edwina Bryan and Anne-Marie Coventry to the Swan Marsh Hall and Tennis Recreation Community, and also to thank people who have held that position in the past. The community members far and wide do a fantastic job in areas such as this. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Hudgell, seconder.
Thanks, Mayor. Like Councillor Howard, his project adjustments and cash reserves are his favourite. The governance report is probably my favourite. I just think it provides a really great snapshot of the work that happens behind the scenes to ensure council is operating effectively and transparently. There's some really good information in this month's report. As Councillor McCrickard said, the new members to the community asset committees, also some information on the unscheduled council meeting on the 14th of July. So if you get some spare time, it's actually a great read with lots of interesting information in it.
Thanks, Councillor.
I can't hear the mayor.
Bloody microphone. Yeah, we'll now put the motion to a vote. All those in favour, I'll go again. Councillor Buchanan, Councillor Dew, Councillor Howard, Councillor McCrickard, Councillor Hudgell, Councillor Schramm. Motion is carried 6-0. Thank you, councillors. We'll now move on to section 8.1, items for noting the annual action plan. Questions of officers? No, none. There's an officer recommendation in the report. Does any councillor wish to move that as a motion? Councillor Howard. Is it to be seconded? Councillor McCrickard. Councillor Howard as a mover.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Self-explanatory. That's all I've got to say. Thank you.
Thanks, councillor. Councillor McCrickard. No. Any other councillor? No. We have a motion before us. Councillors will now put it to a vote. All those in favour. Councillor Buchanan, Councillor Dew, Councillor Howard, Councillor McCrickard, Councillor Hudgell, Councillor Schramm. It's carried 6-0. Thank you, councillors. No urgent business. No. There is none. We'll now move to the close of the meeting. This is my favourite part. Thanks, councillors. That concludes the council meeting of the Colac Otway Shire. Declare this meeting closed at 1:59 p.m. Thank you.